So it's Holly, and I thought I would film a couple of videos today. I feel like I wear this shirt a lot in videos, but that's just, I don't know. Didn't want to change it. So, I did a video kind of like this last year. I actually did two, but I'm not going to do the second one this year. And that is talking about new fall shows. I know Heather from Bookables does this too. A few weeks ago, went around looking for a bunch of shows, and then last night when I looked for release dates, a lot of those shows weren't listed. So I don't know if just release dates haven't been announced or if they're being potentially delayed. There were a few trends I noticed. One, period pieces were like crazy, like 60s set kind of period pieces. There were like a couple astronaut shows, which was odd. And there's more kind of fantasy-y things coming, which kind of surprises me. A little backstory, not sure if I said this in last year's video or not. I feel like I'm not as good as I used to be, but I used to be like a really good judge of what shows would be successful. Like whether I watched them or not, like from seeing the trailer or the description, I could like fairly accurately tell you if it would get picked up or not. And then Once Upon a Time came along and like threw off my mojo or something. I really thought that show was gonna bomb, and it didn't. So these are the shows in particular that I'm interested in checking out. I've honestly, this summer, I've barely watched any TV. I've consistently watched MasterChef, American Ninja Warrior, and Big Brother. That's really it. Those are like the three things I've been consistent about. And as last year's television season wrapped, I kind of like dropped a bunch of stuff. I just wasn't interested in them anymore. So I'm kind of trying to be easygoing with what I'm going to be watching as we go into the new like fall television season. There's some shows that I find like kind of intriguing, but I'm not going to check them out. I do it by network. I have one on all of the major networks. Yay! So first, let's do the CW. I'm actually not a huge fan of the CW. I say that. I think probably my favorite show that's out is on the CW, and that's Arrow. Big fan. I'm actually probably not going to watch The Flash. I might, it'll probably depend on what kind of mood I'm in when it airs. But the show I am interested in watching is called Jane the Virgin, and it's based on a telenovela, I guess. And you can tell, for all of these, if there's a trailer, I will try to link them below if I can find them. This trailer looks hilarious. So it's basically about a girl, she's like in her early 20s, I think, and her grandmother like puts a fear of God in her when she was a child, so she's been like super protective of her virginity and everything, and like she's in a committed relationship, she like loves her boyfriend and everything, and she like goes to the OB to get a pap smear or something, and I think that's what it is, and whatever, she's getting an exam. And the OB is like out of it, she's drunk or just tired, I don't know, and accidentally artificially inseminates her. But not only does she accidentally get artificially inseminated, she gets accidentally artificially inseminated with the last remaining sperm specimen of a boy she kissed in high school who was cheating on like his girlfriend with her by kissing her. And that's his last sample. I think he had like cancer or something, so it was supposed to go to his like wife, and now she's pregnant with their baby, and it's just crazy. It sounds really crazy, and I think it's going to be. I mean, it's based on a telenovela, but I think it has a lot of potential. I'm not sure it has potential past a one-season run, but I think it could handle some really interesting topics, and it looks like it'll be funny. And it's a multicultural show, which is great. That's another thing that there's a lot of this year. There's a lot of multicultural shows. ABC especially is just like throwing sitcoms at the wall. They have a Black-centric family, an Asian-centric family, and a Hispanic-centric family. They all look pretty funny. I don't think I'll be watching any of them. The issue with that is sometimes it's like a little too stereotypical, and that's my one concern with that. But anyways, super excited for that. Next is on CBS is NCIS New Orleans, or clearly missed opportunity here, NCIS NOLA. I stopped watching NCIS basically after the New Orleans like pilot-y episode last season. I wasn't feeling NCIS this year, and I mean I definitely think the show's been on probably longer than it should be, and I think I just haven't fully moved past Cody's leaving of the show. Maybe I'll come back to it. I'll buy it on DVD and catch up eventually because I'm a fan, but I mean I've been watching NCIS since it was JAG, like since JAG was on. So I'm definitely a fan. I don't watch LA though. I have no interest in that. But I do have an interest in the New Orleans version. So one, it's based on like a true person, which I think is really interesting and has potential. It's Scott Bakula, of who I am a huge fan, of course, and then CCH Pounder, she's done a lot of things, but for me, she is Mrs. Frederick from Warehouse 13. So I'm excited for that, and I think it's a story, like a type of story I like procedural crime dramas, and NCIS tends to be a little funny and a little campy, which is right up my alley. It's like fresh life and everything, because it's a different city. Next is NBC, and this show was kind of late to my list, and it's called A to Z. I'm actually kind of hesitant to watch it because the actress in it is the mother from How I Met Your Mother, and I was really disappointed with how that show ended, and so I naturally connect her to those feelings. I think she's a perfectly good actress. There's no issues there. It's just unfortunately she's connected to those feelings. But the show looks really interesting. It seems kind of like How I Met Your Mother in a way. So it's basically a story. It's a narrated story. I believe Katie Sagal is the narrator, and I really like her. So that's nice. And she's telling the story of this couple and their romance from A to Z, and it's going to be a sitcom. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out over time, like what that's gonna mean in the long run, but I definitely find it interesting. It seems like it's gonna be kind of funny, and I like narrated shows. Next is Fox, and there's two shows. One is Utopia, which I believe was done in another country first, but I can't remember. I feel like it was somewhere in like the Netherlands or something. Isn't that where shows always come from, like this? And this, I believe it's going to last for a year, is my understanding. So it's a reality show, but I don't think it's a competition show. It's just like a social experiment where they're taking people and putting them somewhere, and it's like live. Several years ago, CBS had a show called Kid Nation. It kind of reminds me of that, but with adults. So I will check it out. And then probably the show I'm second most excited for this fall is Red Band Society, and I definitely think this show got greenlit because of like The Fault in Our Stars, because it's about a group of kids who are basically in like the pediatric wing, I guess, of a hospital, and they all seem to have different conditions. So there's cancer. I believe one girl has it looks like she has an eating disorder. There's a little boy, he's like a narrator, I think. He's in a coma. There's a girl who comes in, she ends up having a heart condition, I think. And there's a nurse, it's Octavia Spencer, I think. It seems to be just about them, like this group of kids dealing with these issues, and I have a feeling it might end up being like Glee, where I really, really like it for the first season or two, but then I kind of drift from it. But it looks really good. It looks like it'll be emotional, but hopefully funny and cheerful, and the trailer is spectacularly done. Like, it's a beautifully crafted trailer. On ABC. So first is a show called Forever. I kind of feel like this show is going to fail, but I'm still going to watch it. Kind of in a way reminds me of, what was that show called? Like New Amsterdam or something like that? Was that what it's, where the guy kept like dying? Or, I don't know. It was on Fox like several years ago. But this is about like an immortal guy, and he's like helps solve crime. I don't know, it's really hard to explain. He like investigates death because he like wants to die because he can't die, and I don't know, it seems kind of interesting, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And then the last show is the show I'm most excited for, and it doesn't have a release date, so I'm really scared they're going to push it back to a mid-season release, which for most networks, if you get a mid-season release, you're gonna fail. Off the top of my head, I only know one show that had a mid-season release and has been successful, and that's Castle. But that show is Galavant. I'm so excited for this. You should watch the trailer. Please watch it, and then watch the show when it comes on. It is a comedy fairy tale musical. It's oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So excited. And Alan Menken is writing the music for it, which, oh my god, freaking Alan Menken. Yes. And it has Lassiter from Psych. So it's basically about this guy, and he's this, like, his name's Galavant, and he's this great, like, knight, and he's always done these awesome things, and then the love of his life gets stolen away from him by this evil king, and he falls apart. And then this new girl comes along and is like, I need your help, you need to come save my kingdom. And he's like, meh. And she's like, what happened to you? And he tells her the story about this girl, and she's like, well, then you should go after her. And they go after her, and it doesn't turn out the way I expected, and it just seems like it's going to be super campy and ridiculous and fun, and I'm so excited. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be an hour long or like if it's supposed to be a full hour or 30 minutes. I really want to see this show. I really want to see it succeed. I think it's different. I think it's brave of ABC to put something like this out there, because I don't think it necessarily has mainstream appeal. But I'm super excited for it to be on. Okay, so those are the new shows I'm going to be watching this fall. Really quick, I guess I will say returning shows I will be watching. Arrow, of course. I think I'm going to stick with Reign. I did really like it. Probably Bones. I really want that show to end, and I always say I'm not going to watch it, but I find myself coming back to it anyways. Grimm. I felt Grimm was starting to get a little about halfway through last season. But then they brought a new character in, and I'm really intrigued by her, and I think she kind of revitalized the show, so I'm curious to see it continue on. Oh, Castle, of course. I'm all about the Castle, always. And Survivor, I'll be watching. It's supposed to be Blood versus Water again, which honestly that wasn't my favorite season of Survivor ever, but give it a shot. I'm hoping it's all new people and not returning people again. This is bad. If I can't even think of it off the top of my head, then I clearly shouldn't be watching it. Oh, Once Upon a Time. I'll probably watch Once Upon a Time. I actually would kind of prefer to watch Once Upon a Time in season chunks, like marathon it on Netflix. But my parents watch it, and I know they like to talk about it, so I kind of feel like I need to watch it so that they can talk about it with me. So I will probably be watching that as well. So yeah, not really a lot. I think last year I went in watching like 20 or 25 shows, and I didn't have the energy for it, and I mean, there's other things I could be doing with my time. If you want to watch any of these shows, let me know. If you have any new shows that you're excited about, talk about that in the comments as well. Those are the shows, and thanks for watching. Bye!